Hello and welcome to Your Okay Academy of Healing, Expanding, Spiritually Transforming, and Mastering Energetics. I am your host, Your Okay, leadership mentor, nervous system genius, clinically trained therapist, spiritual teacher, and all-around energetic sorceress, which really just means I'm a master of energetics. Your nervous system creates your life, and your nervous system creates your energetic vibration, and your energetic vibration creates your life, and your emotions are the language of the universe. And in Your Okay Academy, we help you feel safe to be with it all, like all of your emotions, especially the dark, painful ones, which is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about pain and heartbreak and how it is happening for you, which, in full transparency, well, my heart just got sliced open. And so I am quite literally practicing what I am teaching you in this moment in time. And it is not for the faint of heart. And I am not new to this. So let's dive in. As humans, we are very resistant to experiencing painful emotions. Our bodies are designed to protect us from pain, physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain. Our bodies are designed to protect us, to keep us alive. And what ends up happening with that is that we keep ourselves stuck because when we don't know how to be with and process and transmute the pain and learn the lessons from it, when our hearts are broken, there is vast gold within that. Vast gold. It's making me teary. It's alive for me right now. And we have to be willing to see it that way and to be able to stay there. And you can only stay there and extract the wisdom and the gold from the heartbreak and the pain when you have a nervous system that feels like it's dripping in gold. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean you're not going to experience the pain. It's going to fucking hurt. Like right now, my heart is like, oh, it's hurting. It's tender. It's raw. You see the tears? Like it's alive. It's right there. It like really just is like, whew, and my nervous system wants to go to all the stories, right? The ruminations, the obsessions, the trying to figure it out. And all of that is my nervous system trying to pull me away from the pain. Notice what I'm doing there. So the pain is in here. It's like right here. It's in here. I feel it often on the left side of my body. And my sweet brain and nervous system, who work in tandem, want to pull me out of my body because it's uncomfortable to be with the pain. But when I do that, I go into these victim narratives. I go into shooting on myself. I judge my process and my initiations and lessons and transformations, and I am not able to transmute, alchemize, and expand with the pain. Now, we as a society are not taught how to be with pain. In fact, we avoid it. Like I said at the beginning, our nervous system wants to keep us safe, which means it wants to keep us away from the pain. And so here's your nervous system. Just to visualize it, right? It's like moving through your body. It's like a web through your body. I know one day I'm going to have the whiteboard that I always talk about. And when you are in what's called ventral in your nervous system, you're in connection, home, and joy and love. When you feel threatened, you'll go into sympathetic, fight or flight, anxiety, fleeing, resisting, fighting, stubbornness, defensiveness. When that gets overwhelming, you'll go into dorsal, so total shutdown state, like hopelessness. And when you experience heartbreak in emotional pain, your body wants to fight against it because it feels really overwhelming to your system and you feel like you're going to die. And most people don't know how to hold you in that pain. They want to fix it, they want to make it better. They can't be with their own pain. And so their support feels really invalidating, which actually then makes it worse for your nervous system because in those moments, what we need is attunement. We need another human to be in it with us without trying to fix it, without trying to make it better, just to be with us in the pain and to help guide us home to ourselves so that we can trust what feels true in our bodies. Now, if we're speaking romantic heartbreak, we always want to go, and I'm laughing because this is just what we all do. We want to go to like they're an asshole. They did a thing. How dare they do this? How dare they da da da? Or we blame ourselves. This always happens to me. I'm blah 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 blah. I'm not da 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 da. I didn't do the thing right. None of that is helpful. None of that is helpful. That is all actually an avoidance of your own emotional pain. And like I said, I am in it right now. So I found myself doing this as well. With all of my knowledge and the fact that I have been through many heartbreaks before, my romantic life has been fertile grounds of transformation for me. And anyone who's on a deeply spiritual path, that will be true for you. And then we shame ourselves and we judge ourselves because the world is a bunch of assholes and nobody knows how to actually be with pain. I shouldn't call everybody assholes, but we just don't know how to be with pain. We don't know how to hold nuance. We don't understand what spiritual transformation actually means. We don't understand that, like, when someone triggers our wounded part and they act out wounded and then our wounded part gets triggered, it's actually meant to guide us to our divinity. I did a YouTube video about how we pathologize love. Go watch it if you want to hear more about this. And I am meant to teach about this because I have literally been through the fire over and 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 over. And when I was young, it was usually me doing the heartbreaking. And then I got a little older and my spiritual journey deepened. And the heartbreak, this is Tinkerbell. She doesn't usually join for the videos. It's usually Aslan. So say hello to Tinkerbell. The heartbreak became in deep service of my transformation because when I was about 21 years old and I'm now 46, I claimed to the universe, I want to love freely. I don't want to have anxious attachment. I don't want to be attaching on. I don't want to have the kind of relationship that feels like a succubus, right? Where people get together and then all of a sudden they just can't stand each other and they're so controlling and attached to each other. I wanted to learn to love through freedom. And my God, that has been a journey. And right now I am like in the cauldron, like in the fire of loving through freedom. And so my heart is super tender. And the tears are really close. They're there. They're not even close. They're there. They could fall if I let them. And I know what's happening for me. I know that right now what is happening, this iteration of this relationship needed to die so that something new can blossom. Like my wise self knows this. And when I can stay connected to my wise self and I can hold that, I can be with the pain and let it move through me. What happens is little Yarrow gets activated, her abandonment wound gets activated, and then my nervous system comes in with the protective stories. Shutting on myself, wanting to understand why he did what he did, wanting to analyze, overanalyze, like make up stories, and none of that's helpful. So what is helpful is to get in touch with tiny Yarrow. She's about 2. She looks like Tinkerbell. Not really. Just kidding. She's so cute. Tiny Yarrow is so cute. And she needs a lot of love and holding. And she needs to know that I'm there with her. And she needs to know that she's not too much. And she needs to know that she's perfect as she is. See how emotional that makes me? Now, what happens for you when I get emotional? Feel into your body. When I get emotional, what happens for you? Do you want to turn away from it? Do you get emotional? Be with whatever is happening for you right now in this moment. Just take a breath with it. So tiny Yarrow needs a lot of holding and she needs love and she needs to know that I'm there for her, that I'm not abandoning her, that she's not too much, that she's perfect and she's loved and she's held. And so once tiny Yarrow is calm and I can just be with the very real pain of the situation, I can connect to the divinity of what is happening here. And then I can go, okay, how is this happening for me? Well, I cannot, if I want to love through freedom, be obsessing or ruminating or holding on or attaching. I have to feel safe to express my emotions and own my feelings, to not make myself wrong if someone can't meet me there, and to know that each time I express how I feel, I am showing the universe what I'm available for. And to trust that what's for me can't miss me. Now, I can't just say that through my intellectual brain. I have to actually feel that in my body. And when I'm connected to my own divinity, and tiny yarrow is attuned to, and my nervous system feels like it's dripping in gold, I'm able to connect to the divinity of what's for me can't miss me, and I can hold that. When tiny yarrow's activated and my nervous system is going into fight or flight or even shut down, like hopelessness, like that hopeless feeling of like I just want to die, like I feel so sad, right? So when you're in that state, you have to be able to fight for your life. So you got to get a little angry actually, so you can get back to ventral, so you can connect back to your divinity. And that's kind of the trajectory of it. It's like, and it's a process. Like you'll be in ventral and you'll be connected to your divinity. And I'm like, I totally feel and sense and know that this is happening for me. And then something will happen and you'll get activated about it, and then you might go into a shutdown hopeless state, and then you have to get back into being activated, like angry, right? Or you, and so that you can get back to connection, so that you can get back to my heart is being split open for me, so that I can alchemize even deeper the layers within me that we're not loving through freedom, that we're attached, and that we're not focused on the creation of my life and the trusting of the journey. Now, all of this sounds very esoteric. It probably sounds like a lot of work. But what happens if you avoid this is that you stay stuck in a fragment of who you're meant to be in your lifetime. Like you can stay in a relationship where you're a shell of your life, of yourself, for your entire life. I have a client who was in a relationship for 10 years and she was a shell of herself. And then she divorced her husband. She ended up getting her heart broken and it destroyed her heart. It ripped it open, really. It destroyed her in many ways, but it actually transformed her into who she is. This doesn't mean she doesn't experience pain. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have these things come up still. It just means that she is becoming who she is through the heartbreak. Now, when we don't have a guide to help us move through this, if we don't know how to effectively move through this, we will implode on ourselves because the world will gaslight us and make us feel like we're wrong for feeling these things. Your heartbreak is meant to transform you. And when you come into relationship with someone and you feel so deeply for them, loving them is actually not about you, it's about them. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is let them go. And the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to hold that love in your heart, connect to your divinity, and really get honest about how is this happening for me? And like I said, we're not taught how to be with pain. We avoid it. We ruminate, we obsess, we make up stories, we try to we want to like circle around it, or we'll go to this like deep victimhood place where we're like drowning in our own sorrow, and none of that is like actually being with pain. Pain has always been something that is really interesting to me. My first ever healing workshops were called Alchemizing Pain into Light, and I used to tell what I called my pain story because I could feel how my pain had transformed me for so many years, like literally so many years. And I was always really drawn to the darkness, drawn to Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, like that deep suffering pain. And I have a theory about humans. We're either totally ignorant to our spiritual selves, we're deep in the process of pain and like in the darkness, or we've transformed it and we've come to the other side. And we might kind of vacillate between those two, the second and the third. But once we have the awakening and we actually go into the dark night of the soul, there's no going back. Like you're just there. And then you have to trust that everything is happening for you. So what happened recently in my life, I can see that it all happened like through the greatest divinity. Like the way everything lined up, the way it all existed was actually perfectly designed to create what has happened right now and where my heart feels like it's being ripped out of my chest. And my work is to stay connected to that. My work is to stay connected to how this is happening for me, to my own divinity, to what's transforming and transmuting for me so that I can birth something new. And we don't know what that will look like yet. But I know that if I tap out of that and I start to shrink or go into the desperation or the hopelessness or the victim story or the shoulds or the how does it look like this? Why is this happening to me again? It's not helpful. And we so often do that. If I go to like, well, he did this. So like I'll talk to some of my beautiful, wonderful family members and friends, and they'll be like, wanting to talk about the things that he did. And I'm like, that doesn't help me because that's his, right? My work is, how did I show up? Did I show up in integrity? Did I show up in alignment? Was I graceful? Was I loving? And was I protecting myself? Was I honest? Was I truthful? Was I protecting my heart and not expressing how I feel? And the answer to all of those things, the first one's yes. The second one, I absolutely was not protecting my heart. I was very honest about how deeply I feel. And that is something that we don't do. We don't feel safe to be the first ones to say, I love you, because if someone can't say it back, we make it mean something about us. But it doesn't mean anything about you. And when you are actually moving through pain and you're moving through heartbreak and you're moving through transformation, one of the things the universe wants you to do is to be able to own your own feelings. How do you feel? Do you like deeply? Do you love this person? Do you feel hurt by this person? Do you feel angry at this person? What, excuse me, what needs to be processed and transmuted through you in order for you to move through this and create with it? Can you allow yourself to stay, get curious, and and let what needs to come forward come forward? Because so often we just want to run away from it. We want to numb, and you can't numb just pain. You also numb joy. You numb being alive. You numb your eros and your libido and your like vigor for life. And so pain is part of it. And we don't want to talk about pain. We want to run away from pain. We want to be like, no, I want to live in the light and I want to be traveling and doing all the fancy Instagram things. How boring would it be though if we didn't actually experience a range of experiences and emotions? Now, at some point in time, we're going to be like, oh my God, why again? Oh, here's Aslan. And that's when we just have to get surrender even more and go, I know this is happening for me. I know at every time in my life that this has happened, it is always happening for me. And I am someone who is transforming fully into full freedom so that I can guide you there as well. I would not be an effective guide if I didn't have deep experiences. I'm a spiritual teacher. Spiritual teachers go through transformation. Think about any spiritual teacher. Buddha, Jesus, Mohammed, Mary Magdalene, literally the depths of pain and transformation they went through was extensive. That is what it is to transform. Because it's not like you come into this life and you're like, oh, I want to learn forgiveness, or I want to learn how to love, or I want to learn freedom, or I want to learn compassion. You have to experience it. You have to experience it in a way that you then embody it. And you're only going to do that through actual experience. You're not going to do that through reading a book. You're going to do that through going to school. You're going to do that through life experience and having the ability to put yourself out into the world and to trust the divinity of everything that's happening, because it really is all happening for you. And I'm going to be telling myself this 1,000 times in the next few days. Thank goodness I'm going to Hawaii on Friday, so I will be sitting on the beach telling myself this. I mean, as I'm talking to you all, it's lightening for me, because I know, like my divine highest self knows this is happening for me. And I know yours does too. And so anytime you're experiencing pain or big emotions, shame, heartbreak, sadness, just get still and be with it. Put yourself in rooms with people who can hold it with you until your body calms and you can feel your own divinity and you know it's happening for you. This is why I created all of the programs I have. I am here to guide you through life, through your spiritual transformation, so you don't feel like you're crazy, because the world will make you feel crazy. And when you work with me, I help you create a nervous system that's dripping in gold. And part of that is attuning to my nervous system, like being held, being seen, like being validated and being expanded by our relationship, so that you feel safe to move through life with ease. The joy, the pleasure, the pain, the ecstasy, the bliss, the heartbreak, like all of it. I am here to guide you through it all, to hold you through it all. We do this in my program, the Portal 12-month, 6-month, or 3-month group mentorship program. I have a program called the Composer that is going to be announced very soon. That is going to be such a potent and powerful program. I have one-to-one mentorship, which is on a wait list right now. There are so many different ways to do this. Go watch more of my videos. Like, we are meant to transform spiritually. The reason I called Yar OK Academy of Healing, Expanding, Spiritually Transforming, and Mastering Energetics is because when you spiritually transform, you heal, you expand, and you have to become a master of energetics, which means a master of the lessons that you are learning along the way, a master of how is this happening for me, a master of sussing out the truth, the frequency of truth. Because especially in heartbreak, there will be so much stuff going on. It'll be like, am I trauma bonding? Am I attaching? Or is this happening for me for my greatest evolution? Is this person meant to come back? And we can only hold that with our sweetest love and trust and faith of whether or not that's meant to be true. But you'll know in your body if you know how to access truth. And when you don't know how to access truth, you're going to drive yourself crazy, obsessing, ruminating, trying to figure it out, shaming yourself if you still have feelings for someone you think you quote unquote shouldn't. Like, this is the way forward. And it's not just in romantic relationships, though I talk about them a lot. It's also in your career, in business. It's being able to embody your personal power and your energetic vibration so you can go into that meeting and you can speak your brilliance and you can be heard. So you can start the business and you can sell what you want to sell and you can believe that people are going to want to work with you. You can magnetize it all to you. You can allow yourself to rest in the middle of the day, to experience pleasure and have sex or masturbate in the middle of the day. The other day, I told a client you need to give your husband a blowjob in the middle of the day the next time you're hugging. And there was a reason. I did that because she's struggling to believe that that's something that's acceptable to do in the middle of the day. And so when she does that, it's her showing the universe it's safe for me to rest and experience pleasure. It doesn't have to be at an appropriate quote unquote time. Like, that's what it is to work with me. Let's set you free. Let's experience the greatest joy, expansion, pleasure, and bliss that you've ever known, and also feel safe to be with the heartbreak along the way. So, thank you all so much for being here. And I cannot wait to see you on the next episode. If you have any questions, if you want to dive in and do deeper work with me, drop a comment below, message me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is yarok, YARROWKAE. I'm on TikTok. Send me a carrier pigeon. I don't know. You can find me. Let's do this. I help you create a whole new way of being in the world so that you stop shaming yourself, you stop shitting on yourself, and you feel safe to create your most expansive, beautiful, connected, joyful life and to be with it all, to fall in love with the journey along the way. Aslan and I say bye.